Welcome to the LumiCast, your premier gateway to the universe of limitless photo editing. Dive into the galaxy of Luminar software and the dynamic world of AI photo editing. Join us weekly for a burst of creativity and the drive to transform your photos with confidence and skill. Broadcasting directly from Clever Photographer headquarters, it's time to welcome your hosts, Jakub and Holly Linton.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of LumiCast, your favorite podcast focusing on photo editing, photography, and our favorite Luminar Neo. Now, we've done many episodes here, but still, my name is Jakub. I'm a professional photographer based in West Sussex, England, and next to me is a photographer and my great friend, Holly Linton. Hello, Holly.
Hi, Jakub. How's it going today?
It's going really well. The most popular and photographers' favorite season is coming. The autumn is arriving. Holly, what's our topic today?
Our topic today is sort of out of the ordinary things you might like to shoot in autumn. So sort of a bucket list of more unusual or creative types of things you can shoot. And we're hoping that everyone gets at least one or two that maybe they've never done before. So that's it for today.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I love fall, my favorite season.
I was just about to ask. You like fall?
My favorite of all time.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah, definitely. When it comes to photography, I don't think there is better season than that. If I would have to say second one, I would say spring, but still, without a doubt, fall is the time to photograph.
Mm-hmm.
One more question. When does the leaf turn to that autumn colors in your place?
They are already starting.
Really?
Believe it or not, yes, there are some orange leaves out there already and leaves falling.
Okay, well, we have a list. We have 5 topics or subjects each. Do you want to start?
Sure, I will start. Okay, have you ever taken pictures of mushrooms? And I know there's a joke about being a fun guy. I think Clever Photographer is a fun guy, but we're talking about mushrooms here. So search around because these all different types of mushrooms sprout up this time of year, especially like near the wooded areas. Even when I lived in New Jersey, there would just be random mushrooms shooting up everywhere out of the ground. So I think get those macro lenses out, get yourself down to the ground, and hopefully you can get back up. But take some cool pictures of mushrooms. And I was thinking you could even add little figurines of little fairies and stuff, almost make a whole little village scene out of it. Could be kind of interesting. Have you heard of a photographer named Frank Smith? He's out of Pennsylvania. He's an Olympus ambassador. And he always has pictures of mushrooms. Like everywhere he goes, he seems to find a mushroom. So it's an ongoing joke when I see his posts. Like, where's the mushroom in that picture? You could really do some fun things with mushroom photography. And I think it's probably an item that people don't think to take a picture of.
Definitely. I really, really enjoy mushroom photography, actually. And the reason why it's really cool to do it in autumn is because generally the floor, the base of the forest or wherever the mushrooms are is already kind of brown. So it creates really nice contrast between the beautiful mushrooms and the background or the base. So yeah, definitely a great point and great idea. Which brings me nicely to my first point, our second point on the list, and that's the harvest and hunter's moon. Now, for those who would like to try and photograph night sky generally, moon is actually a great subject to start with because it's not as complex as stars or maybe like a Milky Way and all the other things. So I think that the moon is a good subject to start with, and the harvest and hunter's moon are really good to photograph because they are nice and low, they are generally quite big, and often they have kind of golden color if the conditions are right. Now, quick difference between the harvest and hunter's moon and why they call that way. So the harvest moon is called this way because farmers at the end of the season, now this is close to that time when the day and night is equal, they would use the light of the moon to do an additional harvesting around because it would kind of illuminate the fields and they would be able to work a little bit longer. So that's why harvest moon. And hunter's moon later on, which generally happens at the end of October or November, this is when hunters would use this moon to hunt for animals as a last opportunity before the winter comes. So different names, different moons. The idea is still the same. It's a full moon Now, the harvest moon is generally happening in September or October. This year, it will happen at the beginning of October. I don't know in States, but in UK, around 6th or 7th of October. And the hunter's moon, again, generally happen either at the end of October or November. And this year, because there is this one of these cycles when things shift, it will happen on 5th of November. So keep an eye, generally beginning of October for the harvest moon and beginning of November for the hunter's moon, because these moons are really lovely to photograph. Have you ever photographed moon, Holly?
Well, I'll just say no. I'm sure.
Or is it too late?
I'm sure I've tried a couple times. Yeah, it's too late. I'm not awake. But no, I would like to. It's definitely on my bucket list to take some moon pictures, but I guess I would need a few tips.
And that is perfect. So just quick moon camera settings. So really to like a starting position. Aperture between f8 and f11 is perfectly fine.
Okay.
Generally, the speed between 1/125th and 1/200th of a second is fine as well. And because the moon is such a powerful source of light, you don't even need to go high with your ISO. Generally, you can get it around like 100 to 300. So yes, you can do it handheld, but I like to do it on a tripod because you can really set your camera, your lens, get it in a frame, and then maybe use something like a remote control or maybe like a 2-second countdown and take a picture. So you could easily do that.
Okay. I should really do that and see what happens.
Yeah, try it. Cool. Looking forward to it. So what's your next point, Holly?
Okay. Well, I'd have to say flowers, of course, should be on everyone's fall bucket list. There are so many different flower festivals, sunflower fields, all different flowers that come out in fall that you may not see during the spring and summer. All the mums and even just, different displays of flowers that you see as you wander around the world. That's what I would recommend. Get those flowers before they die and leave for the winter.
Definitely. Are you going to go out there and try?
Yes.
What would you photograph?
I found a flower farm nearby that happens to be like it's opened every day and you can just wander over and take pictures. So I have that on my list. It's about a half hour from here. So I'm going to definitely check that one out. And I'm still kind of doing Google searches for different flower festivals that might be taking place here in Tennessee because it's my first fall here. So I'm not really sure what there is available. And my neighbor has really nice flowers that he planted, and there's tons of butterflies. So I guess I should add butter. It's a good flower and butterfly opportunity in the fall.
Definitely. Good point.
Yeah.
Well, I will build on that actually, because in a way, it kind of combines. Well, the flowers kind of open the autumn, I guess, and eventually they start to go off. And then we start to see the first frost on leaves and also these spider webs, and it just creates a really nice scene. So while you're going out there and photographing flowers, if you go a little bit earlier and you're able to see the first frost, that's my suggestion for the topic, because that can be also really beautiful. Now, the spider webs, again, at this time of the year are great to photograph because generally the background will be less colorful. It will be more kind of on earthy colors, your browns and darks. So it will be much easier to photograph it. Now, when we talk about the fungi and mushrooms, it's a similar idea. You will probably need good lens to do like a macro photography or something that can go really close to the subject to photograph that, but it can look really beautiful. So the key here for the frost on leaves and the spider webs is generally to wake up early, because you want to maybe capture these little drops on the spider webs, or you want to capture the frost before the sun will melt it down. So that's my next suggestion. What do you think? Good idea?
Unless someone has arachnophobia, the fear of spiders,
True.
They might not want to try it. No, I think they should face their fear and just try to take a spider picture. I found a spider web on a bird feeder out in my yard the other day, and I thought, same thing you just mentioned of definitely getting a picture of some spider webs, because it's not something you see all the time. So if there is an intricate web, that makes for a really nice picture in your portfolio. And yeah, if you can get up early and see that morning dew, that definitely makes the picture more interesting.
Great.
So I'm gonna give that a try too.
Awesome. So far we're doing well with our list. Now we're going on point 5. What do you have?
All right. I would say give shooting abandoned structures and historic landmarks. So think about, depending where you live, of course, you probably have some castles where you are, but maybe different cathedrals if you're traveling, and there's lots of different architecture around, and even things that are crumbling, like near me in Tennessee, there's tons of barns that are all falling apart. So, with this topic, I think about, taking pictures like that of different fields with barns or, any dilapidated buildings would make for pretty neat pictures with, all the foliage around them. So what do you think about that idea?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's a great time to do it as well. I mean, we talk about it. In general, the autumn colors are beautiful, but sometimes it can be a little tricky to add like a dominant subject, because if you photograph forest where it's everything colorful, it's kind of difficult to break it down a little bit. It can be overwhelming. And this is where I think these kind of subjects can really help. And it creates really nice contrast, again, between the very, autumn pastel colors and that kind of stone and earthy colors. So great idea, definitely. And something that I will definitely be doing with the amount of cathedrals and castles and townhouses around here. So great. Okay, so we gone through first 5 points on our bucket list. We talk about fungi and mushrooms, harvest and hunter's moon. We talk about flowers, first frost on leaves and spiderwebs, as well as the abandoned structures and historic landmarks. Now, as you guessed, we are halfway through, so we're going to take a short break, only about 45, 60 seconds. We run the ad and we'll be back. Don't go anywhere because we have 5 more amazing subjects to photograph this autumn.
If you're listening to the LumiCast podcast, then we share something in common. We love editing photos, and we love Luminar. It's almost breathtaking what this amazing tech can do for you. On our website, you'll find countless different things to help you be more creative than you ever thought imaginable. From our photo manipulation masterclass to our power bundle with 986 elements, our essential preset bundle, editing software and extensions to our tutorials. Harness the power at the website at www.cleverphotographer.com/Luminar. Again, that's cleverphotographer.com/Luminar. Now, back to LumiCast.
And we are back for 5 more topics, subjects, or things to photograph this autumn. It's my turn. So let's talk about one of my favorite things, and that's reflection. I like to photograph reflection at any time of the year, but again in autumn, for example, reflection in puddles can be a great thing to photograph after the rain, to go out. You can do that even in a city. You can just walk around the street and maybe photograph your favorite subject in a reflection of the puddle. I think that's a great thing to do, and I've done that many times in the past. But you can do it in a forest or next to the fields or in the mountains, anywhere. I think reflection in puddles is a great thing to do and can be easily done. Now, depending on the time of the day, you may want to try tripod or not, but you will definitely need to go low. So quick trick to check if the reflection is actually worth it is to simply use your mobile phone and take the picture first. So set up your mobile phone with your camera, bring it nice and low, take a picture and see if the reflection is actually really there before you start to go low with your camera and set up everything there. So I think that's one way to try to avoid extra work, and it can really be very helpful. What do you think about that, Holly?
Would you also want to try to get the entire reflection in? Make sure, like, if you see the top of the building in the picture, that you want the top of the building to be in the reflection, like have the entire reflection showing. You know what I mean?
Good question. So this is very, individual things, because we're talking about composition, but generally my rule is, so let's say I have like you say, maybe I have a church, which is my main subject. So the way I like to do it is either to have the full church in an image and just have a part reflection in the, puddle, or the other way around. I have a part church actually be seen and then the full church in the reflection. So that's just how I do it, one way or the other. Does it make sense?
Okay, so it's not a real rule then. I was just curious. Okay, do what you want.
Well, Holly, your turn.
All right. Lonely benches. Do you ever see a bench and nobody's sitting on it? Or if you sit there by yourself, it's probably still a lonely bench, isn't it? But yeah, there is something in the fall about a lonely bench by a lake. I'm picturing all the trees and the different colors of the leaves and leaves on the ground with a nice scene, just near like a river or even up at the beach when, the summer's over now and the boardwalks are pretty empty. and you just have that crisp air and you have that lonely bench by the ocean. So I think that those kind of tell a nice story. I feel like whenever you see a picture like that, I think everybody gets a nice, like cozy, kind of a lonely feeling, but also some kind of a nice feeling. Almost like you can feel the peace and solitude of it. Not that it's lonely like it's sad, but that it's just kind of peaceful and serene.
That's a great idea. I love that. And I think when done right, it can be really powerful, as you say. And it can definitely be iconic or symbol of the autumn, for sure. Good. Now, moving on my point, and that's something that I call hot chocolate moments, but actually it can be any drink, as Holly mentioned earlier. Now, the idea is this. We went through already 7 different subjects, and most of them, you need to be outside for it. So imagine Jacob behind the window when it's raining outside, nothing to do. This is a great moment where you can photograph really cozy moments. So take a cup of hot chocolate, combine it with nice blanket, maybe a book, candle, maybe a little bit of wood, and take a picture of that, like a little moment, and play around with it. And I think you can have really nice captures, which will be very popular because people really enjoy these moments. Have you ever done something like that, Holly?
I've tried with coffee before, doing an indoor coffee shoot where I put a little, like a wooden tray down, and I took coffee grounds and I made it into a heart pattern, and then had a coffee cup with coffee in it next to it, and kind of like saying, I love coffee, that kind of a vibe. It was for a contest in a photo club, and the topic was coffee. So that's about as far as I've gotten. But I do think this is a great idea. You could even do you do little art? You could put your whipped cream and put a little picture of a camera on the top with the foam.
That's a great idea. Marshmallows more than whipped cream.
Yeah, marshmallows. And I think learning to do indoor shoots is great for, like you said, the days where you can't get out.
Definitely.
I think I need a little more to learn a little bit more about proper setups. I feel like anytime I've tried to do an indoor shoot, I'm just not good at making a nice looking display. So I'm sure there's a little bit of a learning curve, how to set everything up and how to get the steam really showing. But I guess you could always do a steam overlay.
Yes.
And add more steam, right?
Often that's what it is, really. Yeah, because the steam from, regardless which drink, either it doesn't last very long, but also often it's not really very visible. So it is quite often brush or overlay. Yeah, good point. Cool.
But I think that's good, doing indoor shoots.
I think the key for the indoor shoot is nice soft light, which can be just a window with like a white fabric. Cool. What about your next point?
All right, my next one I would call forest treasures.
Oh.
And kind of separate from fun guy would be all the other things that you see out there, like obviously leaves, but acorns, berries that start to pop up on certain trees, pine cones, chestnuts, moss, and stuff like that. So just those things seem to be a little more visible to the eye and abundant during the fall. And even just yesterday, I was like noticing acorns on the ground, and I was thinking, oh, how could I do a creative picture using acorns? So I guess there's so many things you can try to come up with, like maybe collect them, put them in a bowl, or like line them up or make like a smiley face out of them or something. And I'd like when I see, like when all the leaves are blowing, I think I have a dream picture of like just a ton of leaves flying through the air, the motion of that. I don't have a picture like that yet. And then just when there is a pile of colorful leaves, just like sitting on maybe on a step or something, just taking pictures of stuff like that. Just fine. There's a lot of artistic stuff you could do with these little forest treasures.
Oh, definitely. That's a great point. Should we also add, talking about forest treasures, should we also add that this is probably a great time to photograph forest animals as well? Or maybe like birds leaving, towards the south? I think that's also in addition to that.
Birds flying south for the winter. Yeah, I guess you're right. And hummingbirds, I know it's like a migration for hummingbirds. So maybe it's a good time of year to get pictures of them too.
Do the raccoons migrate as well?
And the butterflies, leaving the raccoons. Oh, I think my raccoon left. We were gone for 10 days and I had no food, and the bird feeder was literally broken apart. I had to throw it out. I think it licked and ripped apart every inch of the bird feeder. And I haven't seen the raccoon. All the birds are gone too, so I gotta get them back. There's nothing for them to eat. So they left town already.
Okay. Well, almost at the end of the list. We're going to look at one more night photography idea. And this is something that I added to the list because I seen it in a calendar, photographic calendar, week ago. And that's the Orionid meteor shower. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Well done. Great. Okay, so this is basically a shooting star streak across the autumn sky. Now, they say that it's up to 15 different falling stars an hour, which is not a lot, but actually it is a lot if you are a star photographer. And I'm going to tell you when is the best time to photograph it. I had a quick research, and apparently it's late on 21st of October and morning of 22nd of October. Now, if you're going to try it, which I think is a great idea, do additional research more towards where you're located, because obviously different locations, States, Australia, New Zealand, UK, it will maybe vary. But it's around that third week of October when this thing will happen and when it's the most visible. Now, just like with the moon, I'm going to give you a quick camera setting guide on where you could start. Now, you can adjust it towards your gear, but generally, as wide as you can go with your aperture, but maybe like f2.8 would be good, but f2, f1.8 even better. Shutter speed, 15 to 25 seconds is a good starting point for these meteors to make sure that you have a nice long streak there. And with your ISO, well, depending on your camera, but again, as a starting point, somewhere between 1600 and 3200 is again a good starting point for that. From the gear, we talk about the moon, you will definitely need nice wide lens, 12 millimeters or something like that. And you will want tripod with the remote release, because 15 seconds is a really long exposure and the chance that you're going to shake the camera is high there. So you want maybe a remote one where you can just press it from your pocket to stay warm, or maybe one with the wire where you can just press the shutter and it will start that 15, 20, 25 second shooting. And if everything works together, you will end up with incredible meteor capture. So I asked you already about the moon, Holly, but I assume you haven't photographed meteors yet.
No, but I say, let me try the moon first. We'll see how that goes. But you know, I have a 15 to 30 millimeter f2.8 Tamron lens that I barely ever use, that I've actually been considering just selling. But now that you just mentioned which type of lens would be good for a meteor shower, would you say I should just keep this lens for things to try like that? So stars is more of a wide aperture is what you need.
Fast and wide is the idea for the lens.
Okay. But for the moon, you're saying my 800 millimeter with a smaller aperture is perfect. So, all right. Well, like I said, I'll try the moon first, then I'll try the meteor shower.
I hold you to it.
Okay,
very good. Well, that brought us nicely to the 10th point. Holly, can you go through the first 5 points, what we talk about?
Sure. We did fungi and mushrooms. We did the harvest and hunter's moon. We did flowers and the first frost and morning dew on the leaves and spider webs, and abandoned structures and historic landmarks.
Excellent.
And what's our next 5?
And the second part of our list started with a reflection in puddles after rain, or reflection in general, lonely benches, romantic lonely benches, hot chocolate moments, but we agree that that can be coffee or any other warm drink there, forest treasures, including your leaves, acorns, berries, pine cones, and even the animals, and Orionid meteor shower. So, wow, 10 points. Holly has promised that she's gonna do moon photography this autumn, and we are very curious about what you're gonna try. If you will go and try something, then let us know in the comments under the podcast, or even better, send it to our email at info@cleverphotographer.com so we can talk about it in one of our future episodes. Holly, thank you very much for today. It was a lot of fun.
You're welcome. And as they say in the South, happy fall, y'all.
On that note, have a great weekend, everyone. We'll speak to you next week.
Bye.
And that's a wrap. Now, there's only 3 things left to do. Subscribe to this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Visit our website at cleverphotographer.com/LumiCast to see what we have in store next. And stay creative and keep editing your photos no matter what anyone says.